what do she believe? It's not really anybody else's. All right, we can get into it. Hello, my name is Naya and welcome to NayaSayz. This is more for me, as always. I wanted to come on here and have my little coming out spiritually. I know it's nobody else's business what I do believe and what I practice or what goes on within my house. But in order for me to feel as comfortable as I would like, sharing the things that I do, my insight, and just talking about different things, I felt like for me, this was a step that I needed to take for the conversation to get as deep or as real as I would like it without feeling like, did I just go against? So I wanted it to be very clear so that there was no, what do she believe? Is she that? And again, this is all in my head because it's not really anybody else's. All right, we can get into it. I grew up in the Black American church-going family household. I didn't go to church. I didn't start going to church until I was probably like 6 years old. But from there, I was in choir rehearsal. I was in praise dance. I was in Sunday school. And I was in church at 10 or 11 a.m. every Sunday, period. And before I even get started, I do want to say I absolutely love my church family. Honestly, without the love and support from those who poured into me, who knows where I will be right now. So all love from me to my church family. So like I said, I was in the church all the time. So it was a big part of my upbringing. When it came to the service, I wasn't so in tune with the word. Like, I only really like to hear my pastor preach. It's just, I guess, the style that I appreciate. And I'm very like, once I love something, I like it a lot. But with the word, it was like, I was good at hearing a good speaking, but it never really resonated with me. When it came to me feeling something, it was when the choir was singing or when I was praise dancing. Like, whether I was in the choir or I was listening to the good old inspirational choir, for me, it was once the music hit that I could literally feel it in my body. Like, that feeling, how like with music, you can't necessarily see the notes as they're coming out of the instruments or out of the mouth of somebody, but you just have that feeling like, like give you chills or make you move your body and it didn't even touch you, but you feel it. You know what I'm saying? So I always not only felt that with music, but that was like one of my first signs that, this is God right here. Because I felt the song, not just the words, but like, you know how I just knew that what was speaking to me for the songs that would do it to me, it was bigger than just people playing. It was something more to it, and that feeling to me, I was just like, this is God right here. I would probably call it the spirit, but yeah, I was just like, I feel the spirit. I know that this thing is real. Now, I stayed in church, or I faithfully went to church almost every Sunday up until I graduated high school. And when I got to college, I didn't enjoy visiting churches, and so I didn't go to church out here, and I didn't feel guilty about that. I was just like, I'm spiritual. And that was before I really got into everything, but that is what I said. Like, listen, I don't have to go to church to be in fellowship. I know this good old feeling that I got. I know that it's personal. I know that I am taken care of. God's got me, period. And so I did not feel any kind of way not going to church. I was just like, tried it a couple times. I had a time where it was just such a dark downward spiral that didn't get all the way to the bottom, but like, it was just not a version of myself that I was comfortable with. And at one point, I definitely recommitted myself to my religion. And I went to a couple of church services, but in general, I just felt like, dang, of all the situations that I've been in, my good God got me. Like, I am, that's my ace boom coon. Like, you know, like, I was just like, we are here, okay? Like, it's personal. All right, so as I mentioned in previous videos, once Corona hit, that kind of was a pause for me, and that's when I had the chance to slow down and pick up some of my practice again, like my yoga, my meditation, and I got into the chakras and stuff, and from there, I began to do research on things because I had the time, and a lot of it was spiritual based. So religion research and spiritual research, different practices, different ideologies. Throughout all of this, I was just like, you know, I I I felt the presence of the divine even bigger. It was almost like in my head God expanded. Or not in my head, but also in my reality. I just felt like even more connected to God than I was. And like it would be in situations where I would feel led to do this or just felt like something was what it was meant to be. And another thing was information. Like at some point I just was like, you know, the information is also God sent. Like everything I hear and see is meant to be, whether it's for you or me. I just started to receive a lot, and my studies went down certain paths, and I would get like an inkling to look into this or to follow that lead. Or when I went down these paths, a little bit of it was scary to me because it was just like, you know, this is kind of contradictory to what I grew up believing. I also grew up having friends that were of different faiths, so I was never intimidated by things testing my faith. But this was different because it was kind of like, you don't have to not have your faith, but look into this and see how that feels. And a lot of stuff just kind of felt like a good fit for me. It inspired me to take a real leap of faith and believe that these things were also being sent to me with purpose, because everything still backed what I felt to be true in my heart. You know, like everything, although it was a different perspective or it was a different approach or a different practice, these things still felt congruent with who I am and what I plan on doing in this world. And some of them even inspired me to do more things in this world. So it was just very much giving purpose and passion, and this is what's right for me. So with that being said, like, I believe in the Christ energy, but I don't believe that only one person occupies it. I believe that we all have a bit of that energy within us, that there's not only just one, the Christ. That's why it's the Christ, because that energy is within multiple people. It is within every person, actually. I believe that that is the God within, that Christ energy. And so I don't believe that Jesus is my foundation, but when it comes to Jesus, I also don't just throw him out with the bathwater. Regardless of the stories in the Bible, I know that when you call on the name Jesus, things happen. But when I look at Jesus, I don't see him as somebody saving my soul. I firmly believe that we each have the power to do that ourselves. I believe that it is part of, you know, the energy that is within us of God, that is to push us along that path of becoming the ones who redeem ourselves. Now, on top of that though, I also just see Jesus as like a great inspiration, like on some what would Jesus do, just as an archetype though. Like I remember when I just started to become aware of myself, I was just like, you know, something came up. I think it was a bracelet, and it was a WWJD, and I was just like, what would Jesus do? My name is Janaya, so I would think, what would Janaya do? But when I thought about Janaya, I was like, what would the version of me that is already embodying the energy that I'm looking to come into? I wanted to do things in a way that energetically were fitting for me. So like whether it was me presenting myself better or speaking better or being more understanding or not being so quick to conflict and checking myself first, I always would like, WWJD. So in that same way, I see Jesus as just like a great inspiration for how to treat people, but also as a great metaphysician who learned how to manifest things into being, so much so that he was able to show it to a crowd of people so that they knew that there was something more than the regime they were under. Like, honestly, he was a rebel. And I appreciate that. Like, so I don't believe that he's my salvation, but I definitely see Jesus as like my spiritual big brother. Now I feel like it's up to me to take that as an example of like what is possible, and I'm going to work that energy in my own life for myself. And so that is how I see Jesus. I appreciate you, big dog. Like, it's still always been personal, but now I just see things in a different perspective. Still love, but just not, the end all be all for my path to heaven. And we're going to get into that. So, my definition of God expanded. I remember one of the best quotes that came to me also was, "Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world." I think I'm saying that right. And if not, this is just how it came to me. But I remember that, and I was just like, dang, like, I used to say that when people had natural talents, that was them on their God flow, right? So basically whatever God had put into their life for them to learn and utilize as a way of propelling themselves and making this world or the people in their lives or their own lives just better, because I essentially believe that if you are doing good, the people around you will be doing better as well. But I was just like, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So essentially, like, the God within, like that God power within me, that little something that God put inside of me, my little light to shine, that is a very powerful part of myself that at some point I was just like, dang, I wonder if God be like, dang, y'all praying to me about this, but I gave you the challenge because I know that you can handle it, or not necessarily saying that, but like utilizing the power that you have as an individual to affect change in your own life. My yoga practice, there's Namaste, and that is essentially to recognize the God within someone else, like you do the God within yourself. And to me, God is a lot. God, first of all, is all there is. AKA, God is that feeling, but that vibration, I guess, would be a more accurate term of it. And it's neither masculine nor feminine to me. It is the source of all things. So it's a balance in everything there is. God is within me. God is within you. And it's within the people that I love. God is within the people who I don't yet understand. God is in my plant. God is in the small energy vibrating on the subatomic level that is keeping this desk solid. God is everything that I experience in my reality, whether it is good or bad. It is here to support me. It is here to teach me something, and it is there no matter what happens. It is that thing that I can rely on when I'm not sure exactly what to do with my own power or with my own self. So it's everything, and anything is possible because I've always believed God could do anything. And that's why I was just like, if somebody created this world, if anything created this world, if anything that has come from the mind of someone has come into fruition, who's to say that can't happen for me? So and then if that can happen for me, then anybody can make something happen. And I've always just been like a firm believer in that. And now my practices and my beliefs are aligned with that, and without limitation, without regulation, and without me feeling any guilt for it. So God is definitely all of those things. God is love. God is ever expanding, ever evolving, okay? Because everything on here is a part of that same chaos. And so, I hope that's kind of where I'm coming from though, guys. That's where I'm coming from. in general, like to summarize all of this, I believe anything is possible, but I now know what I don't believe, and that is that my salvation has to come from something outside of who I am. It's kind of with that thing that is a part of my being, with my spirit, with my soul. That great divine energy that animates my body is a part of everything. And so I believe in energy. I believe in purpose. I believe in healing. I believe in personal power. I believe in magic and manifesting my reality to be whatever I please. I believe in abundance. I believe in finding stability in the midst of chaos. And that is the foundation for a lot of the ideology that I like to talk about. I like to talk about things that kind of are outside of what is normal or what is normally discussed, at least in my communities. I like to have a different perspective on them. And because of that, I don't necessarily see things as good or bad. I see energy for what it is, and that feeling that is associated with it with someone else is based on their own experiences. Because I know that I've personally been in bad situations, and then the same person, myself, will look at something from my past and be like, that was actually not bad. It was helpful to me. So there is no good or bad. There's perspective, and there just is how you feel about the things that happen. And feelings are subjective, but they are great big energy. And I'm just very excited to talk about it all. Again, who knows what I'll believe years or months from now. All that I know is that my foundation, just like that feeling that it initially was, that feeling is my foundation. Me knowing that I have that support, and that I am being guided, and that I can trust, and I can surrender, and I can manifest, and that I'm loved and taken care of and supported. And it doesn't matter what happens, my beliefs will adjust. I have the freedom to do that, thank God. Woo! But yeah, so the whole point of me doing this, like I said, was for me to feel comfortable speaking on these out of the norm topics, or giving a different perspective on things that we normally see, but also just as a place of connection and transparency. Like, I'm not sure if anybody else has, changed their religion. This was just for me to, here's where I am, and I'm excited for where this will take us. Or like, I'm being myself, and so now I feel comfortable continuing to do so. If you've been going through something like this, or expanding your own self, or like coming to different beliefs for yourself, or if you can relate, let me know down in the comments. I would definitely appreciate it. Definitely love to talk. Or even if you had some questions about my perspective or my beliefs, just for discussion, for connection, for relation, because literally I'm so here for the connection. I'm here for the communication, building bridges and levels of understanding within our communities. So, if you've got any questions or comments or any love or support, I would definitely appreciate to hear from you. And yeah, this is fun. This is definitely like liberating. I am who I am. I am. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Till next time. Peace.